Good morning, dear students. Welcome back again with a new session of science after Diwali vacation. Let's begin with a new lesson number 10, cell and cell organelles. Now, already we have studied that cell is a structural and the functional unit of life, means basic unit of life. Like for example, in order to build any of the house or constructing a building, the basic unit is brick. Same way, the basic unit for the structure of life is cell. Structurally, plants and animals cells have many similarities and differences. Now, what are those similarities and differences? Within few lines, we can say it. Plant cell can be differentiated from the animal cells on the basis of components such as cell wall. Plants have cell wall, animals do not have. Chloroplast, plants have, animals do not have. Brachioles, plants have it, animals don't. These components are absent in animal cells. The cell wall is strong covering around the cell membrane. It is mainly composed of cellulose and protein. So it is a covering or fence or boundary line through which any unwanted personality, unwanted things cannot enter inside the cell. Cell wall supports and protects the cell by preventing the entry of excess of water. So it also helps in balancing the level of water inside the cell. Cell membrane or plasma membrane is a thin elastic covering that separates the cell components from the outer components. Now, apart from cell, many other components are there outside the cells. So, the cell wall is a separating element, or you can say a component which can separate cell from the other. It gives a special identity to the cell. It is selective permeable membrane that allows the entry of only some of the substance inside the cells. Whichever substances are not required or harmful for the cell, that is not allowed to enter inside the cell because of the plasma membrane. Therefore, it is also called as selective permeable membrane. Means only selected substance can gain entry inside the cell, not all. The transportation of substances inside the cell consumes cellular energy and takes place by the method endocytosis and exocytosis. Now, how does the transportation take place? It takes place in two ways: endocytosis and exocytosis. Now, what is endocytosis and exocytosis? Just go through. Endocytosis is engulfment of food and other substances from the outer environment. So, from the outer thing, we take it inside. That is called endocytosis. Engulfment of the outer food material inside the body, inside the cell. Exocytosis is a secretion of waste material from the cell. Now, after consuming the food, whenever human being or a plants consume their food, definitely some waste, unwanted, undigested materials are remaining in our body. That is very necessary to be eliminated from our body. That's why it is very harmful for us. So this process of removal of waste material or material from outside the body, we call it as exocytosis. That is excretion. Excretion means removal. Some process of cell does not consume energy like osmosis and diffusion. Now, in order to transport water from top to bottom, plants require energy. But there are certain processes like osmosis and diffusion where energy in the form of ATP is not required. Now, what are those processes? That is called as osmosis and diffusion. So, what is osmosis and diffusion? They are generally responsible to balance the amount of water inside inside the cell and outside the cell. Now, how it is to be balanced, and what are those three terms used in order to express the balance of water and minerals inside the cell and outside the cell? Let's see. Diffusion helps in transportation of small molecules such as oxygen and carbon dioxide. So for that, I think so. For that, energy is not required. Now, osmosis helps in transportation of water through a selective permeable membrane. So diffusion may only transport of gas is taking place, and in osmosis, transportation of water is taking place.